All right, we're flowing.
Happy Friday, or whatever day you're listening to this. It is Friday for us right now, in a
I
very,
actually haven't. We should look at the stats on that of when people tend to listen to this. It does. It feels like it's in the first 3 or 4 days,
yeah,
which I imagine is the same for most
yeah.
shows. But yeah, that's a good thing to look at.
I think it pushes because it pushes out to our people that are subscribed. Um,
Hmm.
they're like, yeah, we got to look at some numbers. And our Opus clip has been not doing its syndication. They know that there's a problem. So
Oh,
a lot of the clips from last week, like I pushed something out totally in a different way last night. So I'm hoping it's fixed today because we'll get a couple more shorts out.
all right. Good to know.
Yeah, because we're motivated.
Motivated, baby.
We're committivated. I mean, I'm going to go all the way back to my little coined term of commitivation, but I thought let's talk about motivation today because all the sales calls I've been on this week, a lot of the leaders are like, I can't motivate my people. I can't motivate my people. And we're going about it the wrong way.
Yes, people think about motivation the wrong way, and you know when you mentioned the topic idea, my first thought was Bill Campbell. You know who he is?
No.
Hands down the best business book I've ever read. It's called The
Really?
Trillion Dollar Coach because he is the trillion dollar coach. He coached Steve Jobs. He coached the Google guys. Anybody who's anybody. He had his. He unfortunately passed away a few years back. But
Hmm. I'm kind of
you know,
upset actually now.
say what?
I'm kind of upset actually now.
Why?
Best book you've ever read, and this is the
Oh,
first time you're
literally, yeah, the
mentioning
best.
it to me?
I just figured everybody had come across it before.
Well, you know what? That's a good lesson right there. When we think that
Yeah,
everybody has all the information, they don't.
yeah. I mean, honestly, just the best. You know, when people just have a feel for they're just incredibly high EQ. I mean, he was a
Yeah.
CEO himself. He was the CEO of Intuit, which owns QuickBooks and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So you know, he's got business chops,
Yeah.
but he knows how to coach. And he actually didn't start his business career until he was, I think, in his 40s. He was a high school soccer football coach.
Cool.
It's really interesting. But anyway, but what he would say about motivation is it's not something you do.
Mhm.
It's an environment you create that then has the cascading effect of motivation. And that's exactly and I've witnessed it many a
Yeah.
times of leaders just getting that wrong, not
Hallelujah.
listening to their people, not actually trying to understand what it is that would motivate them.
Hmm.
They're just trying to force motivation on them.
Yeah, there will. The last thing I wrote down for my notes to talk about today was environment.
Hmm.
And it really is the first thing. So I'm just thrilled that that's what naturally just got brought up.
Yeah.
Even beyond that challenge of a leadership or management trying to motivate someone is the challenge that often as an individual we don't even understand how we're motivated, we don't even understand what it is our desires are,
Yeah.
and that's where we won't talk about it deeply today, but I'm going to go back to goal setting. It's not about I want to make $100,000, it's not about I want to lose 20 pounds, it's about what are those desired feelings? How will I feel when I achieve this?
Yeah.
But we're too surface level. We are too surface level, so it's really hard for us to even have a conversation with even a really great manager or a great leader who is working to kind of peel back the layers.
Yeah.
As a leader, I believe it's our job to make it weird. Like where most people would ask one, two, three questions, and then they would kind of start hitting that uncomfortable wall and then they back off. People subconsciously and consciously know where they can get themselves off the hook. And they kind of
Yeah.
know where they have to go. And then they get a certain response and they know most people will back off and not push them further. But as a good leader, and I want to say if you there is management, right? We manage people, we manage things, we manage processes, we can manage people, but I even believe people that are labeled as a manager, you're still a leader.
Oh
So
yeah.
your job is to make it weird in a legal non human resource issue way to ask that next question where most people stop because
Yeah.
that
And I
is
would
where the
agree.
gold is.
I would even argue that even if you're not a manager, even at this point, you're just an individual contributor as part of a team, you absolutely can create an environment by just doing the things that you do that will then inspire and
Yeah.
motivate other people. The
Yes.
amount of times I've gone into a new environment and I haven't had a leader title or leadership role,
Title.
but
Yeah.
they're like, this guy is like reaching out to 10 times more people than XYZ over here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
guys, X, Y, and Z start feeling that, and then
Mm-hmm.
they start doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, hey, look how quickly he responds to people. We're going to start doing that too. And it's just, you can create that environment without saying a word.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not in
and
the
yeah.
I'm not in the team meetings going, come on guys, we've got to reach out to 10 times more people. We've got to respond much more quicker. It's just much more quicker. That's an awful use of English language. I apologize. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's you can just lead by example, which
Mm.
then has that cascading effect of
Yeah.
motivation.
You're always leading by example. Always
Yeah.
leading by example. And it's not title. It's not about title because titles mean nothing. Um, I shook things up on Facebook a little bit. I got a couple like DMs like, was that about me or that was that about someone I know? And the post was basically like, if the people around you aren't growing, you have not created a leadership opportunity for yourself. Like you've created a fan club. And I'm
Yeah.
guilty of that too. Like even doing my best in coaching, I could have done more. I could have done better. People on my team loved what I did, right? They wanted to do what I did. And while I worked to teach them that, they had to do it in their own unique way. They had to be someone other than me. But there's a lot of people in leadership roles that really just have a bunch of fanboys and girls around them because it feels good for their ego. And they're not actually stepping into the true leadership opportunity, which means taking the spotlight and all of the kudos off of you and growing your people and
Yeah.
but really doing it in a way that is not like, oh man, I can't believe I'm giving this up. It's like you are genuinely filled with pride and joy and all of those things that you get satisfaction when you see your people winning, when you see your people failing, but getting up and continuing forward. Like that's leadership and it's not a title.
No.
So going back to the motivation and willpower, like you said, like it's not something, motivation is not something you do. The willpower is a limited resource. I know a lot of people that have really good willpower, and we always are so fast to cut ourselves down. I don't have good willpower. I'm not strong enough. I'm not, mentally, whatever. It's such nonsense. We beat ourselves up thinking that we're supposed to have this endless fairy sprinkling dust of willpower and motivation all day long. And the truth is that we just don't.
No.
The morning time, typically, if you look at studies, most people have the most motivation and willpower like in the morning. And that's why they'll often say
Well,
like do the
and
hardest thing in the morning.
physiologically, that's because your cortisol is at its highest at that time.
Okay, so
So,
talk to us. Educate.
well, I mean that's really is. Your cortisol peaks at about 30 minutes after waking up, and then it slowly, if you have a typical circadian rhythm in
Mhm.
cortisol awake sleep pattern, it will just gradually decrease as the day goes on.
Mhm.
So that naturally will, it's actually interesting that Andrew Huberman said recently about cortisol that people often refer to it as a stress hormone, but he actually prefers to refer to it as an energy hormone, and
Mm.
you're just really managing your energy throughout the day, and you can't be on it all day. So
Yeah.
long-winded way of saying physiologically that makes sense that
Mhm.
you are most motivated when you have the most energy, and your circadian rhythm is in alignment with that.
Yeah. All right, so if there's something in your work or your personal life that you don't necessarily you might actually love doing it, but you just find if it waits till the end of the day, it's just not getting done. You're just like making excuses, you're procrastinating, or you're just tired.
Yeah.
So those are the things that you shift the beginning of your day. So like why a lot of people work out first thing in the morning. It's why a lot of salespeople make their calls first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's part of setting up your environment of what are the things I must accomplish on a daily basis, and what are the best times for you individually to do
Yeah.
them.
And I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I meant to mention it last week. Listen to a podcast. It was actually, I think, Diary of CEO
Mhm.
had a sleep expert on there.
Mhm.
And it's probably like the sixth or seventh sleep expert he's had on there. But I actually really like this guy. And he actually has a quiz you can do, or a form you fill out, and it tells you what your chronotype is for sleep. Like,
Mm.
are you more energetic in the now? In an ideal world, we'd all be waking up at 5, 6,
Mhm.
getting to bed 9, 10. So we haven't, everyone's in alignment. But the reality is, you have people who have conditioned themselves to become night owls,
Yep.
and your chronotypes can change throughout the years. But he was saying that he's actually had business executives have their whole company do these chronotype tests,
Mm.
and then based around that, they will arrange meetings at certain times for those people,
Oh, wow.
because to your point of when you have the most energy, you're going to have the most productive meetings. And that is part of creating motivation, because you're creating an environment that
Yes.
someone's not showing up at a 9 a.m. meeting when they've actually been up since 1 a.m. to got up at 6 to get to the office, running on 5 hours of sleep, not at their best.
Mhm.
Naturally, they're going to have more energy a bit later in the day,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera. So that's all these things you can do that will create the knock-on effect of motivation just by the environment you're setting.
Yes. What your physical space looks like,
Yeah.
what it sounds like, what it smells like, what memories, what I love to have grounding things, right? Like things that you can just look to that are
Yeah.
those quick reminders of why you're doing it. Maybe it's a photo. There's so many things that you can do. Big thing for me was when I'm coaching people, especially in the sales industry, everyone's got prospecting time, right? Prospecting time on the calendar, and almost nobody does it, especially when that
Yeah.
we first start coaching. Right? It's there, it's time blocked. They time blocked it because someone told them they should, or they told themselves they should, and it's there, but it's amazing. Like it just doesn't get done. And I was like, what is the purpose of prospecting, right? And I won't say names, but working someone through, and basically going to some identity statements, and it got down to like really like his wife
Okay.
being happy like with what he's doing, right? You're in the real estate industry. You can go a long time without making money if you're not doing it the right way. You can work really hard during that time where money isn't coming in. The money will come in if you're doing the right things, but there's
Yeah.
chunks of time, and someone looking from the outside is like, what's going on? Especially if you are one of the providers to the household. So prospecting time is like, yes, I'm committed to it. I'm going to do it. And just kept not getting done. It was also in 5 days a week. I'm like, you're not doing it 5 days a week. I don't want you committed to 5 days a week if you're not committed to that. I don't care if it's one day a week. What's in the calendar is what you need to be committed to. So start somewhere.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did was, I'm going to say his wife's name was Mary. Instead of it saying prospecting time, it was make Mary happy time, which could go a lot of ways. But when you're looking at that, one, it's a reminder of why you're sitting down to do that. Two, when you're choosing to not do it, it's not like I said no to my prospecting time, whatever, big deal. I'm saying no to making my wife happy. That's a way
Hmm.
different mindset, and reality check.
Yeah.
So utilize titles that are sitting on your calendar. Your calendar should not be, oh God, like what a horrible day. I've got this, I've got that. Even if the action isn't going to change the title to something that's empowering to yourself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
speak
And
about
and
that
I
a
think
lot.
one thing to really dial in on is the fact that your motivations can change. The reason you're motivated to do something,
Mm.
the reason can change on a macro level and a micro level. You just used the real estate example there of not making money for a while. The biggest deal I did was with the couple that we were looking at houses nearly every weekend for about 18 months.
Hmm.
It was actually the point where at least one of their kids had 2 birthdays in the time we were working together to try and find a place. And
Yeah.
at some point, my motivation, of course, my motivation was to help them, but you go in thinking, all right, this is going to be a big deal. I'm going to get a nice check at the end of this. After X amount of time, you're like, well, I'm not motivated by the money now because you can't see it coming because you're
Right.
just continually doing this. My motivation now is I'm going to make sure after all of this time that they get the best freaking house for the best freaking deal.
Yeah.
And funny enough, it was actually a house that they liked when it was about 20-30% more expensive. And I actually, being an upstanding agent, said, I don't want you spending that on this house because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, price drop.
Came down.
6-7 months later, got the house. So that's just a micro example. Then think about a macro. I was thinking about this on my way back to record this. My motivation to make a lot of money used to be about peacocking and status and showing people how well I did. I got that chip on my shoulder from not breaking into the music industry the way that I wanted to or felt that I could. And even before that, with soccer, I could have been a professional soccer player. I'm not saying in a Premier League, but I could have played at some level. I was good enough, but things didn't work out and whatever. Now my motivation to make a lot of money is, I've got a disabled child. I need to make sure that when I die, there is enough in the kiddie to make sure he's taken care of for the rest of life. And you talk about feelings. What feeling does that give me? It gives me comfort knowing that God forbid something happens to me,
Yeah.
kids are taken care of. So that's my motivation now. I could give a fuck about the status stuff.
What identity
And
does that support for you?
just that I'm a father and I put my kids first.
What does that do for you?
I mean, we can get really existential now.
Well, let's go.
To me, I truly believe that having children is the purpose of life, to give life and continue life. You could, from a religious and even from a, if you subscribe to evolution and all of that, it's the purpose. So to me, is I'm fulfilling my purpose in life. And if I'm not giving everything to that purpose, then I'm not being the best version of me.
Okay. So it's not about making a lot of money because that's not actually very motivating. It's about
Right.
on your deathbed, if we're going to go there,
Yeah. I mean, even in
closing
my
your
role
eyes.
now, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
We've the way the commission structure is, the compensation structure is, the bonuses is based on the team performance. It's not based on individual people. I don't look at that bonus and feel like we need to hit our numbers so we get the bonus. I want to hit the numbers because I want to perform.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not about the money.
And it's a marker.
Where,
It's proof that you've
yeah,
performed.
I mean, it's going to be nice, don't get me wrong. But then someone else on the team might have the opposite feeling. They don't care about
Yeah.
hitting that number. It's about getting the bonus. And going back to leadership, you can't treat each person the same. They all have different reasons for being there and
Yeah.
different reasons for wanting to do the best job that they can. And I've seen leaders really fail at this, where they even have gone through the whole rigmarole of asking and surveying their staff what motivates you,
Yeah.
and completely ignored what they said.
And oh, by the way, everyone is motivated by different things, and we
Yeah.
use the motivators with the disc as well. If you have, and no, neither one is, there's not one that's better than the other. But if you don't know how your people are motivated or what they're
Yeah.
motivated by, you can never tap into it. But one of the things is like, if, for example, I'll have leaders go, "Oh my gosh, we don't understand. We every single month we offer like this dinner that people get to go to if they get this." If you have a whole bunch of social motivated people, and by social I don't mean they like to be social. By social meaning that like if there's no one winner, like we either all win, they like to do things like donate their time to soup kitchens and volunteering. That's very motivating for them. If you have that, and you are doing these things like, hey, team, when we hit this, we're going to all go out to dinner together. Great. If you have a bunch of individualistic or utilitarian people, it's not that they don't want the team to win, but they're totally fine if one person wins. Like, yes, if I work the hardest, then I'm the winner and I deserve that. Whereas
Yeah.
social people, if you make it about one person winning, they will actually work against that because they believe that that's not fair. Either the team wins or no one wins.
Mhm.
Whereas individualistic people, they are not motivated by the team winning. They're looking like, yeah, I'm going to do my best so that I can win.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, I like the people around me, but I really don't want to spend a Friday night out with everybody at dinner. I want to be with my wife, my husband, my children. Those are like, that's very utilitarian. So depending on how your teams and your staff is motivated, and you can find that through an assessment, you don't have to guess. You can then make the motivation, the gift cards, the dinners, the vacations, the celebrations, whatever you're going to do around what those majority of your
Yeah.
people are motivated by. But instead, we're just doing these traditional stuff because HR hands it down with really not even knowing what's good for that group. And that's why you see some groups excel and some don't, just because the people within that are have different motivation naturally.
Yeah. And it's you see it particularly with startups that are still founder led, where the founder has this idea that everybody in the company should share their vision and should be, motivated by exactly the same thing that they're motivated by.
Mm.
I create this business so I can help this type of person do this. Motherfucker, this person's probably just there to take a paycheck. They
Yes.
don't care. Like, just that's that person. You just always make sure they're financially taken care of
Yep.
if they're worth it.
They don't have anything to
It's not.
prove. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it before. Founders say, "Well, we don't want these types of people there that are just motivated by money." Why
Right.
not?
Right.
If that's what motivates them, create the environment for them where they, of course, you create the performance based commission structures for them so that they're always performing to make the money. But
Hmm.
it just ignoring it and assuming that everybody should have the same outlook as you as a leader is
Right.
really bad way of going about it.
Horrible. Horrible. Also it goes both ways. There's a lot of I saw something on Glassdoor or something, and they're like, "What do I do if I'm smarter than my leadership?" Right? Like I'm smarter than my boss, and I was like, "What in the hell?" Like you might be smarter than your boss in some ways, right? Or you might be smarter than leadership in some ways, but leadership is a totally. Or if you're a founder, being a visionary or having a vision and being smart enough to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, it's not like I just felt it was it just shocked me almost to see it, and I understand it, but I'm bringing it up because we really have to take a step back. And instead of going into this, I'm smarter, I'm better, I'm all these things, right? And normally we're looking for justifications to have something more. Really, how are we valuing each other? That's what this goes down to.
Yeah.
How are we valuing each other? How are we looking at other people's strengths? Are we looking at the things that, like Ben and I are a great example of this. He negotiates basically for a living, right? In the legal field, and I negotiate and communication as well, but like I'm pride myself on my communication and my learning of it. Yet we are so different in some ways that we can actually clash in the areas where we are the smartest. We are
Hmm.
the best that we can be. And so what I have found, which I think is good, which is a great thing in good partnership as long as there's safety there, where I tend to find the biggest rub, that's probably I need to look at that. Why is this upsetting me though so much? Why is this rubbing me so much? And typically, majority of the time, when I really slow down enough, I'm like, okay, this is a different perspective. This is a different way than I would have normally done, but this is actually giving me a breath. This is giving me
Hmm.
another bit of information that I actually didn't have before that is actually impacting the decision that I want to make. So really looking at where is someone just rub you the wrong way, and how can you value them for that? And then how can you utilize it to either make your team better, make yourself better. It's not about you changing. And for leaders, if you don't truly value your people, you'll never ever be a leader. Never.
Yeah.
And you have to value your people because that's the only way that you actually make time, especially if you're task oriented, to go walk the floor, to go talk to people, to go take that someone's at the, getting coffee, and instead of just avoiding them, go up like, how's everything going? How are the kids? Having those conversations which gives you the information that you can tap into why they're motivated, and you have all the motivation in the world. But if you don't
Yeah.
have those conversations and you don't actually value your people and they don't value you, it'll be very transactional with a very short lifespan.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off the point of, no, I'm smarter than my boss. Yeah. That's why you got a job, Dick. If you weren't smarter than your boss, you would have been hired. Right? Uh, and it's interesting. I know I have two friends. One is at one of the top. It's sometimes the biggest company in the world. Sometimes it's the second or third.
Okay.
I won't say which. And another one who's at a company that is on pace to be one of those companies if all things work out. Both of them, one of them's in a management capacity right now and has come to the end of his career and doesn't really want to do that anymore. He wants to just be more of an individual contributor. The other one is in this fast-growing company, could, if he wanted to, be a manager, but doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
Because he knows what motivates him as an employee, and having to manage people is not it. And I think that's something people need to get their head around. But talking about that point what you saw on Glassdoor is sometimes being the manager is the skill. It's not, you're not the manager because you're the best engineer or you're the best lawyer or the best whatever. It's because you know how to manage people.
Yeah.
And that's often the problem, is that people get hired into management positions when they're shit managers. They're just good at, they just climb the ladder.
Yep.
And people don't think about that. And that leads to a lack of an ability to create an environment that leads to motivation.
Yeah. And here's where that becomes a problem, right? It's only a problem if the manager or the leader hires that person because that person is smarter in their role and then does not allow that person to do their role. If you hired me because I'm smarter here, but every time I try to do something, you're thwarting it, that's not you. That is not a smart leader, right?
Yeah.
If you're hiring someone to the role and you don't let them do their role for whatever reason, then yes, that person is smarter than you and it's probably a terrible environment for them. And if that's you, you should leave. You should exit stage left. And then if you're a manager or a leader, you should be looking at like, where are you not letting your people, your smart people that you hired, do their job?
Yeah, exactly. And, talking about feeling valued, my value as and it's really interesting having been at the top of the chain as a founder owner, and then also in environments where I've come in at the very bottom of the organization and worked my way up. I feel valued when I feel like I'm respected, where my opinion is sought after. If I'm able to work across different channels within the company, if marketing are asking for my advice, and I'm also getting sales advice and whatever it is, and not having an ego has allowed me to be very comfortable and happy. I don't need to be the person receiving the signed proposal. I don't need to be the person that's got my name on the email that goes out with the signed documents or whatever. And that's also been detrimental in some respects, because when you work with the wrong people, they take advantage of that
Sure.
and overstep, because you don't have the ego to be like, I need to be the main man.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me, as long as I'm respected.
Yep.
And for someone like me, if you want to get the best out of me, you play into that.
Yeah.
You make sure that, just put me in the room, and I'm very good at that. I'll be in a room with the head honchos, and I'll just sit back. I don't feel the need to always interject and give my opinion. If I'm asked, I'll speak.
Yeah.
But that's how you get the best out of someone like me. Whereas if you're just if you micromanage me, ooh, that's the worst way to go about it with me. I don't analyze my minutes. my output per time is going to be better than most people's.
Yep.
You will mismanage me like that and it completely demotivate me.
Yeah.
Whereas other people need to be micromanaged. They
Mm-hmm.
like that. They need to
Mm-hmm.
be told what to do, then they'll be productive.
Mm-hmm.
And they're motivated by being a cog in the wheel. And they don't really care about having their opinions asked or whatever. It's really interesting. It's a really it's one of the reasons I enrolled in the MBA. I really want to learn more about that in an
Yeah.
organizational kind of aspect.
You just gave so many little nuggets. I'm going to highlight a few points. Uh, a basic human need is a need of significance.
Mhm.
And that's not in an ego different way. We have to feel like we are contributing, like we matter, like
Yeah.
people do value us. And you could be paid all the money in the world. If you do not feel appreciated, it's going to need to be a heck of a lot of money. And most people will burn out from that. One of the other things you said was one of the ways for you to feel significant and valued is asking your opinion. When you do that minus the ego, a lot of people are afraid to ask for people's opinions because they feel like if they don't then take that person's opinion or advice, that it's going to cause an issue. So if you feel valued by being asked your opinion on something and then you're detached to what the actual outcome is, of course you have an interest in the outcome. And if you believe your opinion, you'd like to see it used in the outcome. But if you can go,
Yeah.
well, they went a different direction and not take it like so personally and flip out and be like, well, you didn't do what I said to do. That is a way to keep that communication open. So the people need to know that they can ask people's opinion. And sometimes I'll even preface this. Like, I'm really interested in what you think about it. And if I know this person has a lot tied to their own opinion, I will say, like, I may or may not take action on what you're going to say, but I'm going to consider it, right? So like I want
Mhm.
you to give it to me based on like knowing that I might do something totally different, but I do value your perspective because I want that perspective so I can ultimately make my own decision. Whereas you have other people that really do need to be micromanaged because their decision making abilities are not one of their strengths, right? They have really maybe they have great strengths with tasks and numbers and that, but they're so cautious that it's more challenging for them to make a decision. So if you give them micro check-ins all the time, I want to say micro check-ins, not micromanaged. Like micro check-ins just shows them that they are on the right track and they're not making a mistake,
Yeah.
or that you're on board with them. That's a great environment for them. Another
Yeah.
thing you said is you can be in a boardroom, you can be in a meeting and not say anything. And if you're asked, though, you'll contribute. It's another big mistake that leaders make. They think that, especially in the sales world, because we tend to get more high Ds, people that are really talking, or high Is, and they just want to like totally run the whole meeting with all their stories and information and look how great I am. And it's not because I'm trying to get my ego. It's I want to know that everyone likes me. Right? Like, here, I'm
Yeah.
contributing more. Do you like me now? I'm supposed to be here. You want me here, right? Because look at all the stuff that I know and I'm willing to share. If you are a leader or if you are a facilitator, make sure that you are asking the people that are not speaking up. Now, it doesn't mean you have to put somebody on the spot, but just asking the question, Paolo, do you have something to contribute? What are your thoughts on this? You're probably ready to go with some really brilliant thoughts, but if you're not asked, or you're overshadowed by the one, two, three people that basically talk the whole meeting, you're not going to be sharing. So
No.
people need to feel significant. You can ask for opinions and you don't have to take action on them, and you can give your opinions and be totally okay that someone makes a different decision. And make sure you are asking your people, you are talking to your people, you are asking them not a yes or no question. And instead of
Yeah.
saying, do you have something to contribute? You say, what would you like to contribute? What are your thoughts on this? Something that's not yes or no. And like your whole world will open up when you start changing how you ask questions.
Oh yeah. And just to kind of land the plane as we get to our destination. Um, I know a lot of our listeners may not think of themselves as leaders and may not may work for themselves or be stay-at-home parents. Just
All leaders, by the way.
yeah, but just interchange people that we've been saying
Mm-hmm.
with children.
Mm-hmm.
All of this applies to being a parent too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the same dad for Mason that I am to Braden. They have got two completely different experiences with me as a father.
Different needs.
You know, for different, yeah, they have
Mm-hmm.
different needs. They need different styles of parenting,
Mm-hmm.
and I show up for them based on that. To
Yeah.
try and be the same dad to all of your kids,
Yeah.
big mistake,
Yeah.
big mistake. And also being, even if in your case with just the one child,
Mm-hmm.
you have to show up differently at different times for them.
Yeah.
You can't be the same, and you have to know what motivates your child. Is it, is getting in trouble, will they be motivated to not do it again
Mm-hmm.
if you scare them,
Mm-hmm.
or if you show them love and forgiveness? Every child is different, and in
Yeah.
different situations are different.
Mm-hmm.
But just one more thing I had to say on creating an environment that leads to motivation is honesty. And
Mm.
that's a thing that a lot of folks miss, and that could be being the and something I've always had a harder time with. And it's interesting, Gary Vaynerchuk's always talking about it with himself. Being candid
Yeah.
actually is important. you
Mm-hmm.
you can't I'm reading another great book right now, Ben Horowitz, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And firstly he says, I love this, that the mark of a great leader is being able to make a good decision when the only options are bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But the chapter I'm reading right now actually is quite good timing. He's talking about, just you have to be honest with your staff, otherwise they're not going to be motivated. And what was a light bulb moment to him was just a brief exchange with his brother-in-law, who was a line man for AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
And he had just met one of the executives at AT&T. He was really excited to mention to his brother-in-law, like, hey, I just met this guy. Do you know him?
Yeah.
And his brother-in-law was like, yeah, that guy, he shows up once a quarter and blows smoke up my ass, and that's it.
Mm.
And he had that. I was like, oh shit, like that's what I'm doing to my staff. I'm painting this rosy picture of, and you think I'm being motivated by like, and I used to work with someone that would do this all the time, and it was so annoying because you knew like, revenue's dropping, we can all feel it, we all see it, but
Yeah.
you're saying great things are coming. It's Be honest with them. Say, hey guys, we're not in a great place right now. I need everybody to really dig in here, because this could be the outcome.
Yeah.
We might go out of business,
Yeah.
and you see how motivated people get then.
When
But
you
just
say, yeah.
by not being honest, you're actually doing a disservice to the people you work for, or that work for you.
Yeah. And I think I'm very big on transparency, but I think there's
Yeah.
in business a difference between honesty and transparency. I do believe as a leader and even as a parent, there is a difference where I might be honest but not transparent because I am
Yeah.
shielding my child, or I am shielding the group from kind of having to carry the weight that you as an owner carry. And when people are like, "Oh, I want people to act like me," well, if they're not an owner, guess what? They're not going to act like you, and you should stop expecting that. Can you
Yeah.
expect them to give their all? Yes, but are they going to act like you as an owner would? No, because they're not an
Never.
owner. But the truth, the honesty, that goes back to my reality check. And like anytime you're sitting down and really looking at like, why am I not motivated, or I'm not hitting this goal, getting that reality check, which is just honesty with yourself. Because if you look at your social, even sometimes I'm like, wow, well, I'm doing great, right? I'm just in Aspen, I'm flying here, I'm flying there. And my life is great, right? But I also deal with relationship challenges. I also deal with money challenges. I also deal with motivation challenges. I also deal with, my own personal issues, family challenges. We can easily even ourselves be like, wow, I got it made right now.
Yeah.
And still be grateful, but really get that reality check. Okay, where is it that you're not doing what you need to be doing? You committed to this. One, are you still committed to it? Where did it show up? Where did it come from in the first place? Was it your idea? Was it something that was handed to you? Are you still committed to it? If the answer is yes, what's the reality check? What do I need to do to make this happen? Where am I hitting obstacles? Can I connect with my coach? Can I connect with my friend? Can I connect with a coworker on like helping me get through this? It's okay to have people help you be motivated and stay
Yeah.
motivated and be reminded, because it's the reminder of like, hey, what's the reality? You said you were going to work out 30 minutes on the treadmill today. What did you do? Oh yeah, I worked out. Okay, did you do the 30 minutes? Well, I had 5 minutes. All right. But if I
Yeah.
didn't ask the second question, it's like, well, yeah, I worked out. Well, but you didn't stay committed to what your goal was. So just getting that real hard reality check of taking stock of where things are right now, what you're actually committed to, what you need to let go of, what needs to go on the back burner, what's the top priorities in each one of your categories, your personal, your
Yeah.
health, your work, your money, all of that. And really be honest with yourself, because if you're just going based off of what you're putting out there in the world, you're probably tricking yourself too.
Yeah. And just really, we all say it all the time, really focus on your why, and
Mm,
always go 3, 4, 5 layers deeper.
mm-hmm,
I see it all the time with health,
mm-hmm,
where people know that, for example, they need to lose weight
mm-hmm.
and they're not motivated enough to go and work out, or they're not motivated to change the way they eat. But if I test them and they come back with dysbiosis, or HPA axis is tanked, or their cortisol's tanked, or way through the roof,
Mm,
they see that and now they're motivated,
yeah,
because now you start going deeper. Okay, well, I'm going to get sick,
yeah.
and it's not just about the weight. I'm going to get sick, and
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean for my children, or what does that mean for my family, or my wife, my husband? And that's the motivation. And you want to get there before you have those negative feelings and negative fears.
Yeah.
But really ask yourself what motivates you, because it might not be what you think, and you
Mm-hmm.
may have this boon of this surge of motivation, just because now you've unlocked what actually motivates you.
Yeah. That happens for a lot of people after they've gone through grief
Yeah,
or had a significant loss. Like they can get
yeah,
this like resurgence of just motivation and focus
yeah. What was I
and
living for?
yeah. Yeah. So our goal is always like we want to give information and inspire so that you don't have to hit rock bottom or even near rock bottom to actually make changes. So if
Hmm.
anything resonated with you today, whether it was for yourself or for someone around you, think about it, share it, get your reality check. Tap into one thing that you could try as an experiment for the next week or the next 2 days, whatever it might be. Because when you tell yourself this is something I am going to do, and then you actually do it, and that's why I don't want you to commit to something for the next 3 months or for the rest of your life. It could be the next 24 hours, it could be the next
Hmm.
hour, it could be the next week, whatever it is that you can truly commit to. And then when you do it, you're building that self confidence, you're building that subconscious, like, oh, when Tara says we're going to do something, we actually do it. And that's the way you build self confidence. And that's the way you build motivation. And that's how you inspire people around you. And that's how you walk into a room and go, yeah, you should believe everything that I'm saying. You should be motivated to make the decision that I want you to make because of how I am showing up, because I know I can believe in me and you can certainly believe in me. But if you don't believe in
Hmm.
yourself, and you don't know how to tap into your own motivation to get your goals done, no one's going to say yes to you. And if they do, it's going to be exhausting and it's going to be few and far between and certainly not sustainable.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Time flew.
Yeah,
Until next
as
time,
it always
friends.
does. Oh, I'd agree with it again. I spoke over you.
Until next time, friends. Bye for now.